It's Tuesday night, 10 p.m. This evening we are talking about the 1985 film Weird Science. And we will also be doing a random clip of the week if it plays, which hopefully it will. And then we'll also be talking about the movie we are doing next week, which will be Chuck's pick, since we are still doing the Dealer's Choice Awards every week, where each one of us picks a random movie. And then whoever doesn't want to watch it still has to watch it, because that's what we agreed on.
Yep.
But first, before we get started, I am Chadman.
I am Mike.
I am confused, Chuck.
Chuck. We are your video store clerks. Dave is not here. He is out with the flu. Hopefully he'll be back on next week. So as we do, let's start everything off with the news.
And when the city is dealing with someone,
All right.
Okay.
That was it.
The city was dealing with someone.
And she started to skip.
She
Like,
skipped.
What was that? That dude, Max Headroom?
Right?
I remember that show. That was a shit. Like, wasn't that rap god song that Eminem did that kind of like looked like Max Headroom?
Yeah,
Yeah.
imitated it.
That's a good song.
That was a good song. Mm-hmm. Anyway, starting out as we always do with the news, our top 10 box office Billboard movies. Number 10, One of Them Days, did 1.3 million this week, did 46 mil the last 6 weeks. I feel like that movie will no longer be on there after this week. Number 9, Neza Part 2, came out last week. So for this week it did 2 million, and then last week and this week alone, the last 2 weeks it did $13.8 million.
Jesus.
Number 8, The Unbreakable Boy. First week out did $2.3 million. It's about a boy who has a brittle bone disease and is fighting autism.
Oh, wait. That's I think I've seen that one. The trailer made me cry. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Looks
seems
like
like
a good one, actually.
Seems like it'd be a tearjerker type movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
100%. Number 7, Mufasa, did 2.5 mil this week, bringing in 245 the last 10 weeks. And number 6 is Chava. I won't explain that shit again. If you missed it, go watch last week as I butcher some names. Did 2.6 mil this week, did 4.8 the last 2 weeks. And number 5 is Heart Eyes. Did $2.7 million this week. And this 3-week run, it did $26.6 million.
It was a fun one.
I haven't watched it yet, but I want to see it.
I watched most of it. I fell asleep like the last 30 minutes as long because I watched it.
That can't be a good movie at all.
No, it was way too late at night.
It
Okay.
wasn't too bad. I fell asleep.
It was pretty
No,
good.
I was enjoying it, but I was really
Put me
tired.
right out.
I mean, it's good shit. I liked it.
Number 4, The Dog Man. 5.8 mil this week, doing a 78.6 the last 4 weeks. Number 3 is Paddington in Peru. 6.5 mil this week, doing 25.2 the last 2 weeks. I saw some interesting part that said some hackers are holding Paddington hostage or some shit, and they're just like, whatever. And that's about it. That's the story.
That's the premise.
That is.
It's kind of like Ted.
Yeah, I don't know. Number 2, The Monkey. So last week we said it wasn't on the list, but we figured out why. It was because it was only released in the UK the week before. Now it is released worldwide.
I can't wait to see it.
So this week it did $14 million. So I think they played it in all the churches first, and then they released it.
Why did they play it in the churches again?
The European churches?
Why did they play it in churches? I still don't know.
I remember last week we were talking, I saw that it said something about a lot of the releases were going to be played in churches of the Monkey. They were going to be playing that shit in churches for whatever reason.
I don't believe it.
That sounds goofy, I know.
That's so weird.
And number one, still, Captain America: Brave New World did 28.2 million this week. The last 2 weeks is up to 141, which means Marvel fucked up again because this shit ain't doing good at all this week. So everybody that's seen it was like garbage. And
What do you expect now? I mean,
now we're back where we're at with Marvel.
I'm hearing that it's not that bad, so people aren't completely burying it, but they're not over the moon with it either. You know, I think that character is always going to be a sidekick type character. I don't know.
I think people are over Marvel for the most part.
Well, they're starting to warm up to it again.
I mean, I've always been over it, but yeah,
They just need better stuff to come out. You know, they haven't had a good track record over the last couple of years. So,
true.
It's time to be a little bit more choosy. All right, about just pumping out different Marvel freaking proprietary options. You know, you gotta pick and choose. You can't just throw it all out there and try to make some money.
I don't know. We got some birthdays today. Today is Tia Leone. Happy birthday. Turned 59.
Oh, wow.
Sean Astin turned 54. Happy birthday.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
And the styling, profiling, limousine riding, Ric Flair. Woo! 76 today.
76.
Never thought he'd make it.
Still causing a ruckus wherever he goes. Saw a video not too long ago of him at some bar or whatever getting told to leave because he was being a jackass or something, and he was drunk and completely just being shitty to the people or whatever. I didn't see the whole video, so I don't know who really was to blame for all of it, but I don't care. It's the Nature Boy. It's the Nature Boy. We love him.
Who doesn't love the Nature Boy? He's putting his fucking name on everything. He got a fucking energy drink now, fucking cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, he's just everywhere. Water.
He's a new Kiss, man. I'm telling you.
He's putting his name on every fucking thing.
He had wings. He had some woo wings for a while. I never tried those. I think you had to special order them.
What were they?
Wings, chicken wings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, called woo wings.
Really? Are you serious right now?
I'm serious. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
It's like
I'd love to try those
with a woo.
you take a bite and they make you go woo.
I'd love to try his fucking weed though, because apparently it's really strong.
Woo weed.
Woo wee.
Woo wee.
We got a little sad news.
Oh,
I don't like sad news. Nobody died. But Phantasm's Reggie Bannister is now in hospice due to his dementia and Parkinson's.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking.
So, thoughts out to Reggie.
Yeah, man, totally.
Horror franchise icon.
Yeah, we've all met Reggie, right?
I've never met Reggie.
I see. I got to meet him and his wife Gigi a while back, and they were two of the nicest people, man. I didn't get to show Angus because Angus was sick, so he couldn't make the con. But I got to show Reggie and Gigi my Phantasm tattoo, and they were really, really awesome about it. And they were super cool. So when I heard that he was not doing too good, that's a bummer. That's a complete.
It is,
bummer.
man. I think the only con that he was at that I was close to, I didn't get to go, so I never got a chance to get him. Because he was at Monster Mania probably like 8 years ago or something.
It was when I went, it was actually really lucky that we ended up going because we went to the panel too, and that's where Angus actually called in. He called Coscarelli's phone, and they just had him up to the microphone, and he was talking, and he was doing all his famous lines. It was a good year. It was a good year.
Oh yeah.
Gigi had posted something. I think it was on Twitter. I don't know. Here's the screenshot. It's hard to see there, but yeah, that's him in the care. And they were saying that they wanted. He still wants to hear from his fans, and send him some well wishes. Send him some positive energy. He needs it. It has right there. If you can't see it, it's P.O. Box 4387, Crestline, California 92325. That's Reggie Bannister. So if you get a chance, Send him a letter. Send him something. Let him know you're thinking about what.
Give him some love.
Yeah, man.
Sweet guy. All right, so President and producer Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down from Lucasfilms. So she was been around for the later years of Star Wars. So hopefully Star Wars maybe picks back up, but I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it too.
Yeah, like, oh,
and actually, somebody did die. That was kind of Roberta Flack passed away.
oh shit.
Just to throw that in there, you know. So it was yesterday or today.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Chuck.
Just doing my due diligence.
Amazon and MGM bought out the James Bond franchise. So one of Amazon's employees put up on his Instagram, who would you pick to be the next Bond? And people were blowing it up, thinking there's going to be another Bond film. I just think he was asking in general, but you never know.
You never know. I heard that Disney bought Rocky Horror Picture Show or some shit too.
My gosh.
Oh man.
It's gonna be weird.
And then Martin Scorsese finally found his next film. It is a Hawaiian mob film, which is so far untitled, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Emily Blunt, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Of course,
DJ.
Over him. Don't give two shits about The Rock.
Shout out to DJ. We love you here at the podcast. I don't care what Chuck says. He watches. I don't know if you know this or not, but he watches from time to time. And he's a very busy man. He'll pop in. He'll just say what's up and move on. But that's about it.
I mean, I don't hate him. I'm just tired of seeing him.
He wants us to be his champ.
Yeah.
What?
He's coming for your soul. Mortal Kombat. Hey, didn't they release something about Mortal Kombat? Didn't I see that in the news as well?
Maybe I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
Oh, man. Maybe it was a video game. I don't know. There was some kind of news about Mortal Kombat movie coming out. I don't know. I think
Mortal Kombat video game.
The second one's coming out here sometime.
There was the movie. I think it was the movie. Might have been the video game. I just caught a glimpse of some Mortal Kombat news. I thought you might have known. I don't.
That's crazy. I got to say this though. It's kind of nuts.
After the last one, I don't want to see another Mortal Kombat movie.
No.
Well, but like after so many years, after so many years of that game being one of the most popular fighting games of all time, like it still has stuff that like it comes out with. It's kind of amazing. Just saying.
Christopher Nolan's new film Odyssey is a sequel to Troy, which is 21 years after Wolfgang Petersen's movie. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it goes well. I've only ever seen half of Troy because it wasn't nearly as good as Braveheart and shit. But
I don't give a fuck about it.
Uh-oh.
What?
The after.
Find it?
Huh?
Did you find the Mortal Kombat?
No.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that's Dave because it's not me.
Well, if it is, the intro was botched.
No, we're gonna run it. We're gonna run it just for Dave right now.
Can't.
Oh, wait, it still didn't work. What is going on with this? Huh?
Just you want to run it? We'll run it.
Run it. He worked hard.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Yeah, right.
Here's Johnny.
Who's the best?
Put that cookie down, but what's in the box?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is Video Store Clerks. Welcome to the store.
Hey,
There you go.
we're back.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Welcome to the
It
show,
was,
everyone.
it was a little switch up. We had like a cold open, an extended cold open, and then boom into the intro. Switching it up this week.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool intro.
Now we fucked up. We had the wrong video loaded in the intro spot. That's what had
dumb
happened.
shit.
That's what had happened. All right, so the last bit of news that I do have.
Oh, I thought you were done with the news.
Nope, this is the grand poopa. The MCU puts down the TV shows on hold. Daredevil might be the last coming out for a minute because they're going to focus on the X-Men 97 season 2 and 3 and possibly a new X-Men feature film.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep. What up, Melissa?
Hello.
Mike's in charge of the show.
I'm taking over. That's why it's all fucked up. This is Dave, guys, just so you know. I don't know why he can't come on. You're too good. You're too good to come on the show, Mr. Sick.
It's because the intro wasn't loaded in the intro box. It was the talk screen. I unfortunately did not check that before we went live, and we went live and looked like some deers staring into some headlights there for about 8 seconds.
We said, fuck it. We'll do it.
Fuck it.
live.
Fuck it.
Stare
Fuck
into her headlights.
Yep.
Fuck it.
Is it time?
It's time. We're going to take you now. We're going live to Sherman, Illinois. The John Hughes classic Weird Science, which he wrote in 2 days while on the set of Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club.
Came out August 2nd, 1985. This August will be the 40th anniversary. Runtime of 94 minutes. The budget was $7.5 million, bringing in 38.9 worldwide. And, well, there's a lot of fucking oingo boingo.
A lot of oingo boingo. I got a question real quick for Dave. Dave, are you at home right now still wearing a bra on your head, even though you're not?
That would be fucking hilarious.
I want to know.
If he's just at his house hanging out with a bra on his head.
Yeah,
send a picture, Dave.
His
we'll show it.
internet actually went out. I think he's on his phone. There's a missile that came up through the middle of his house and cut all the cords. So he didn't have access to the laptop. But that's okay.
Happy.
Wow, freaking 40 years, man.
40 fucking years. We're old as fuck, fellas.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Did this come out the year you were born, Chuck, or the year after?
Year after I was born.
Yes, I was, 4? And Mike was 5.
Yeah, you're older fucks than me, but
Technically, I'm
still
4.
old fuck at this
My
point.
birthday's
We
in
look
December.
good. What?
I said technically I was
You're
4 because my birthday's in
were?
December, so I hadn't turned 5 yet. It's 85. I don't turn
August 2nd,
5.
I would have turned 4 the very next day.
There you go.
So this shit would have came out whenever I was 3.
And I remember seeing this at a young age. I can't remember when, but I was young. That's for sure. And
Dave's
oh.
kitchen.
oh, he blew himself. So but yeah. Some questionable things. Fast forwarding 40 years, going back and revisiting this film. We'll get into that. But it's a classic. You can't. It's come on. Okay. First off, people, it's a freaking movie about 2 horny teenager kids that are creating a woman. All right, you can't take this shit serious. All right, it's just pure comedy. All right.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people these days would.
Well, there's certain themes. I'm not saying disregard everything, but
right.
It's 85 and it's a stupid teen film about them trying to make a woman in their bedroom. All right.
Mind you, I'll remind everyone that this movie was written in 2 days.
2 days, and it wasn't rated PG.
I think so.
Weird.
Yeah.
Science.
Hey, that is something though. When because you just said we all saw it like pretty young age, right? All right. So like, what was your first like thoughts as young impressionable boys when you first saw this movie? What were the things that went through your head?
Probably the same things that were going through their heads. It's just like this is a teenage boy's fantasy. You know what I mean? Have a smoking hottie. Shout out Kelly LeBrock, man, because she is smoking hot in this film. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Sizzle. All right. But it's every teenage boy's fantasy to just have a woman that'll do whatever you say. And oddly enough, they don't take advantage of that.
They don't do a
the way that
thing
the way that an average boy would take advantage of that situation. But I digress. But yeah, I remember that I was young enough to where it was one of those films where I think whenever I was a kid, the scene where they're trying to make another woman for Robert Downey Jr. and that other guy, and everything getting sucked out of the house through the chimney. And as a kid, the part I always thought was cool was that the chick with the piano gets pulled out, and then all of a sudden her clothes get pulled off, and she gets pulled out of there. And as a young kid, you're just like, ooh, titties, So yeah,
I thought that scene was funny though because she goes up feet first and she comes out head first.
Yeah,
she lands in the pond.
So yeah, as a young boy, that was one of the it's the same premise. We just care about titties and naked women's. All right, but it's like like I said, I remember I wasn't real young. I wasn't 4 when I watched it when this came out, but it was years later, maybe 10, 11, somewhere in there. Right. But still, it's that coming of age film. And this is the kind of stuff it's like, ooh, this chick's clothes got pulled off. Kids nowadays, they don't understand what we had to go through back in our times, our old times. We didn't have the internet. You couldn't get on the internet and look at some boobs, man. You had to go on TV and try to hopefully catch Skinamax or HBO or
in between the lines,
or you look at the freaking squiggle lines.
Turn the squiggle lines.
Yeah, pizza
on the Playboy channel and the Spice channel. That's what we had to deal with. Or you had to go find some nudie mags. That's what to deal with growing up. We couldn't just get on our phone.
I had HBO, right? But we had HBO as a kid, but then as I got older, my parents, for obvious reasons, got rid of it. But it was channel 2, right? And if I put my VCR recorder on that channel and push record, the picture would come through. It'd be black and white, but the picture would come through enough to where I could see shit or whatever. And sometimes I could even hear. So not even just with like softcore porn that was on there, but like talk shows and shit that was on HBO I shouldn't have been watching. But
you said you were combing your hair. I never toss off, Mom.
I never toss it off.
That whole scene. Well, I'm not doing nothing. Oh my god!
The water's always running.
I've heard enough.
Yeah, that was another thing. Whenever you tried to watch pay-per-view or, like I said, Spice Channel, Playboy, any of the premium channels that as a kid you couldn't get unless the parents paid for it, and they're not paying for you to watch Playboy or Spice. So you're watching through the squiggles. Like every once in a while, you'll be able to see, like Chad said, a nipple or something like that, maybe some bush. I don't know, but you could hear everything. So wrestling, we'd turn it on and we could hear the commentary. We could hear Vince and Jerry Lawler talking about what's going on the pay-per-view, and we see a little bit here and there, until we got that black box, and then we were good to go. Oh,
yeah,
for real. That was a lifesaver.
Wording.
What? What?
It's all about that black box.
No, not that. What? No, the black box, the descrambler.
The descrambler.
Come on, get your head out of the gutter.
No, I refuse.
That's a firm standstill.
Firm.
God damn it.
No, but I don't know how old I was whenever. I feel like if I seen this, it was probably on USA, like the edited
I was
version,
gonna
and
say
it was
that,
probably
yeah.
like not till a year or so before the series came out.
The series, yeah. Actually, funny thing about that, I've been going back and rewatching the show House,
Okay.
and today there was an episode with a guy on there, and I was like, I know him from somewhere, and then tonight when I was trying to find where to watch Weird Science, I saw a still of the TV show, and I was like, oh shit, it's the fucking redhead guy off there that was on House today. I was like, that's kind of funny that happened to the episode I watched today.
That is pretty funny.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah, kind of weird.
Don't you think?
No, but I mean, John Hughes was coming out with bangers when he did this movie. Like, he had so much going on. He's pretty much doing this and another movie at the same time. Like, I know he stopped filming Breakfast Club to finish filming this, and then he went back to finishing Breakfast Club.
Yeah, man, John Hughes, prime time, and he didn't direct for that long. I think the last film he directed was in '91. So yeah, and then he's just stuck strictly to writing and producing films.
So he came out with what
was his last movie?
He banged out like 16 Candles, and he was doing Breakfast Club while he was doing this, and he finished Breakfast Club, and then he did Ferris Bueller, which is all Sherman, Illinois.
Shermer. Not Sherman.
Shermer.
Who's Sherman?
No, we found out there is no fucking Sherman, Illinois.
Get the J in Silent Bob. John Hughes, The Crying Game, 16 Candles. But yeah, I don't know. The last film he directed was, I think, Curly Sue. Yeah.
Oh, the James Belushi joint.
God, I forgot about that movie.
Well, he transitioned. Once he was done, he kind of got finished with all these coming of age, teenage, high school films, and wanted to kind of upgrade to something more. So he's doing Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He's doing The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, Dutch, stuff like that. And
all classics.
Yeah, some of them didn't get the acclaim that they should have, but
no.
After that it was just he was moving on, and then you got Home Alone, and it's like to the moon.
Yeah. So when did John Hughes pass away?
It was 2009, I believe. Let me take a look here. Double check.
God, 2009.
2009.
Oh, I've officially hit like dad title. Didn't they just die the other day? Like that's exactly. I was like, didn't he die a couple of years ago? Yeah, 2009. God damn it.
Just walking through the streets of New York and had a heart attack and dropped dead. Shame.
Fucking Dutch.
There you go,
Dutch, man. Yeah, that's when I wouldn't mind going back and revisit.
Ed O'Neill.
That one years either. Yeah, man. I love Ed O'Neill. He doesn't give a fuck about nothing. Like, he is awesome.
Yeah.
He's such an asshole too. But no, he's an asshole, but he's not an asshole. But yeah.
Well, you could see similarities in a lot of these John Hughes characters, especially the comparisons to that time frame in the early 80s when he's doing all the teen films, and then when he moves on, it's like if you look at Uncle Buck, The Great Outdoors, Dutch, you can see similarities between those characters. Dutch has that feeling of Uncle Buck, or Roman, or in The Great Outdoors, whatever. They all have that similarity there. So yeah, you can see things there. And John Hughes, oh my gosh, I found out that John Hughes wrote some crazy shit back in the day whenever he was working for National Lampoon, man. A lot of people just focus on the stuff like Vacation and all that, but he wrote some really dark stuff. If you go and look, if you don't know anything about John Hughes' early stuff, go take a look at some of this messed up stuff he wrote for National Lampoon. It is some dark shit.
Yeah, because he did National Lampoon Vacation with Anthony Michael Hall. And every time I say his name, I want to say Anthony Michael C. Hall. Just Michael C. Hall. But then he did what? He did Regular Vacation, then he did 16 Candles, then Breakfast Club, and this. And then this was the reason why he wasn't in European Vacation.
Good choice on his part.
I mean, him and Hughes were friends. Like,
Well, a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff he just wrote. You know, the first thing he directed was 16 Candles. Then he did Breakfast Club. Then he did this Weird Science, and then Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So,
I think he's had so many great fucking movies, but man, like those first 4 movies that he put out, and honestly, like on my list, actually, fucking 16 Candles actually isn't even on there, but I mean, so many good fucking movies. And Weird Science, man, it is because John Hughes, you know, like we talked about, like was the king of like teen comedies. He's the reason why we got things like American Pie and shit, you know. But Weird Science, though, was, I think, one of his, going back to it being about a couple of like horny ass fucking boys. He did pretty good job of really like focusing on the teenage mind. You know what I mean? When it came like the teenage male mind when it came down to certain things. If the movie wasn't PG, if it wasn't for, I think there have been other things in it, because this is where I'm going to go to now. Both of them annoy the living fuck out of me throughout this whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, dude. Like the whole time, just like, I want to punt both of them. Like I can't stand either one of their characters. And I maybe I keep looking at fucking Hall going, years later, you would be in Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like,
Evil dies tonight. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, right. But you know, I do remember as a kid watching this with me, a couple of my friends that actually watched older movies and shit. Just kind of, I don't know. You can see yourself, you know, you're a freak, you know, or you didn't, you know, you weren't like really that popular in school or whatever. And when you're a kid and you watch this movie, you go, hey man, can we can we push pause and see what they're doing? Could this actually work? Let's just see. Hey, go get your mom. Doesn't your mom have a couple of bras? Yeah, man. Let's you know, I mean, I'm not saying me and my friends put bras on our head and trying to make this actually happen.
What do you mean? Isn't that normal?
What are you trying to say? Chad looks like a deranged Meatloaf from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I told you, I feel like Kevin Nealon from fucking Little Nicky.
But yeah.
Get that
but yeah, right here in the middle of
a lot of cameos.
A lot of cameos, yeah, sure.
A lot of cameos in this fucking movie. Fucking very young Robert Downey.
Oh, just Robert Downey.
Yep.
Whatever.
That was his drug days.
Dude, yeah, it was. And anytime I watch a movie of his from back in those days, I go, I wonder how much fucking shit he's on in that moment, or how much he did that night after he got off the set. But I forgot he was in this movie.
Yep. Yeah.
And then also the fucking guy that was in Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Yep.
The buddy. He's inside me, Grady.
Yeah.
Grady.
Yeah, I forgot he was there too. And but let me tell you, I really hate that guy. God, I hate that guy. Man. Even though I don't hate this movie, I hate most of the fucking people in it. I just want to punt them all.
I mean, you get introduced to all 4 of them in the very beginning. Like they're like sitting there watching the girls' gymnastics practice or whatever, talking fantasizing about how they're going to get popular and have this big party. That's all he ever talked about. They were just always too scared to do it. And then they get depantsed.
Yep.
By
that's a horrible feeling.
By a very, very young Downey with a gap in his teeth.
Raise your hand if that's actually happened to you at school. No shit. Yep. Okay. Chad, so you're the only one that wasn't humiliated. Raise your hand if it happened in front of a girl you had a huge crush on.
Didn't. Mine was in the lunchroom. I can remember specifically, I was wearing these tropical shorts. I don't know why. I can remember. But I was wearing these tropical shorts. I was going over to the table with my lunch tray. So I got the lunch tray in my hand, and somebody decided to pants me. And of course, you know, I got to fucking drop the food and pull up my pants real quick. But they got me.
Yeah, we had a flex time. You know, we had it was like an hour that we could walk around the school. We could eat our food in the hallway, in the in the breezeway, anywhere. And I was so fucking hungry that day, and I had a piece of pizza in each hand. I had enough money to get 2 pieces of pizza, and I had 2 plates because that's what they fucking required or some shit. And it was just easier to walk that way up the stairs. And I was going to meet the rest of my band because we always had a little meeting area. Our drummer was a douchebag, and he was sitting like he was sitting on the floor with his chicks, right? And one of the girls that was hanging out around us was a girl that I had a crush on. And he thought it'd be funny because my hands were full to yank my pants and my boxers down. So, yeah, in the middle of the hallway, it was actually C wing, upper C wing. And I went, oh, and I was hungry. So I set the pizza down. All right. I was like, oh, and I looked over and I was like, anybody want to now this? And I just set her down, slowly pulled my pants up, threw a goddamn fit, and hawked the nastiest loogie in his fucking face. And he got up, and he tried to get up, but he wouldn't because all these girls around and shit or whatever. And it just about became like a huge fucking ordeal because every time I was around him after that, band practice, whatever, I couldn't look at him or I'd want to beat the living shit out of him. It was horrible. That was horrible. That was fucking bad. Fucking bad. So
selling hot dogs.
Let me tell you, it was. I mean, people saw my ass all the time because I mooned everybody like a dumbass when I was a kid. But I thought it was funny.
Oh yeah.
Now I get canceled for it.
No sound.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad on my part.
I wish I could have no sold it. You know, I just holding the tray and they de-pants me and I'll be like, all right, serving hot dogs. Who wants it? Come and get it, you bitch.
I actually had to walk around the building and ate my pizza because one of our cool teachers, Mr. Castle, rest in peace, actually kept me from beating the living shit out of this dude. He's like, come on, man. He's like, let's not do. He's like, go out. He's like, I know you got cigarettes. Why don't you go out on the back, somewhere and like, walk around the school,
What?
So, oh yeah, at that time, like I had a few teachers that like if you had cigarettes, they didn't give a fuck.
What year was it? Was this last week? What the hell?
Oh no, I've been smoking since I was 13.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They say smoking's bad for you.
Shit. It is. It's horrible, and I wish I could quit. But anyway, yeah. So,
well, it seems
so. Chad doesn't know the embarrassment,
and it seems like the prime opportunity to de-pant somebody is when they're holding their lunch.
There's a pattern there. There's definitely a pattern. That's horrible. Anybody, anybody that ever did that, anybody that ever yanked somebody's pants down out of pure meanness for no reason whatsoever while they were in school or any other time in their life, eat shit and die.
Well, all right.
This has been.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, like all of our viewers have de-pants somebody in public. Like, we're pieces of shit. Sorry, we're out of here.
No, but that was the good thing about a lot of John Hughes's films was that he kind of gave a voice to the nerd or the underdog, and and ultimately they're the ones that prevail. So kind of to take from CM Punk, a voice to the voiceless. So. I think it resonates with a lot of people. So, like our experiences, Chuck, we can definitely relate to how these kids are in the movie. I was a nerd, not like super bad like these guys, but, I understand, I'm a fucking nerd. I'm still a nerd, so I get it. And, like I said, a lot of people relate to that, that there's more nerds out there than there are the popular kids.
More people were just scared of me than they really were.
I don't blame them,
but that's why they picked on me, because they thought I had the long hair and the black fingernail polish and wore all like the black leather.
You're the goth kid.
No. I was never a goth kid. If anything, I was a black metal kid. Okay. Like I didn't fucking walk around listening to fucking emo music. I listened to fucking satanic fucking metal. All right.
Yeah.
Fuck them emo fuckers.
Then you hear him in the locker room, and he's like, "You get that new Backstreet Boys CD?"
Everybody.
Yeah.
But to go back to that though, even though like I was like, you know, I wasn't like nerdy or whatever the fuck, we were all picked on. Me and all my friends were always given. Well, some of them were a little bit much for even some of the bigger jocks to deal with. Because some of my people, my crew, were very psychologically fucked up to the point of dangerous. And I would just hide behind them a lot of times.
I never really had that problem. Like I grew up with the jock kids because I played sports all the time. But then also I was a little skater kid, so I hung out with all the other kids everybody else picked on. So I don't know.
Trench coat
Kid. Yeah, it wasn't a trench coat, but it was I did have a long black leather jacket.
Duster. Yeah. I had a
wasn't no
I had a trench coat, oddly enough, but it was before they were unpopular. Let's just say, mine was more based off the Undertaker. You know, that was the thing. I was like, I'm gonna wear a fucking black trench coat. I'm gonna. I had my head shaved back then. I was mean mugging everybody. I was looking so tough walking around the mall. I'm a bad motherfucker, and it was, it was just me. Like, just leave me alone. If you're gonna treat me like shit, I'm an outsider. Just leave me alone. It wasn't any kind of political or statement.
No,
fucking pony boy over here.
I didn't. I wasn't that kind of trench coat kid, but I was actually kind of fucked up because I did actually. For a short period of time, there was a kid that actually came from Columbine, who actually was in Columbine, who came to my school for a split second, and he wouldn't come near me until we talked because I was wearing what I always.
Oh, sure,
And
if you came from that, like, hey, you got that PTSD, man. You're gonna be leery of anybody who looks like that, and I got that shit. I got that shit even later on. I remember because that was just the style I wore. I've always been an all black type of guy. Johnny Cash, the Man in Black. But I remember later, I was the president of the student council, and every like quarter or something like that, they would have this meeting at the Board of Education. All the schools, the people from the whatever would come, and they would meet, and they would talk about the Board of Education was cracking down on the clothes that students were wearing. And because they wanted to, it was like Marilyn Manson type stuff and all that. They're like, oh, I think we should, kind of put a ban on what these kids can wear. And it's like, hey, we have a right to express ourselves. I understand that Marilyn Manson, at the time wasn't popular. He's doing all this dumb shit, slicing himself open on stage, and all the rib cage removal bullshit, and all the goofy shit.
He didn't do that though.
Allegedly,
he didn't do that. It's not allegedly. That's impossible. Somebody did that, their body would just like that's all bullshit. The whole thing with him being, I was a big Manson kid, and I'll just go ahead and say it real quick. The whole thing that got started about him cutting his ribs out and sucking his own dick. There was a guy that was on tour with them. It was 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, and the Jim Rose Freak Show. And there was a guy from the Freak Show that happened to look very much like Manson, and everybody thought that it was Manson. That's what the guy did on stage. Where the fucking ribs getting removed thing, I don't know. People, I guess, didn't realize people were limber. That's all bullshit. And he also didn't play on fucking Mr. Belvedere or Wonder Years and other shit either. But yeah, no, same in my school. Marilyn Manson shirts, if you wore them, it was like automatic in school suspension at one point. And I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Of course, when I got home and I was wearing one, I was in a lot of shit. I just sneaked to wear mine. So,
but yeah, at that meeting, I remember specifically, and this was a testament to this person that I still talk to this day. Popular girl. She was like the homecoming queen and everything like that. And they were, criticizing, the students that wear this stuff, like me and everything like that. And I just remember her saying to him, like, hey, Mike wears this kind of stuff, and he's not some kind of psychopath or anything. So I always appreciated that sentiment. It was like, we kind of we're outsiders and we want to be left alone. Doesn't mean we're just gonna do something crazy or anything like that. But there's a lot of people that are going through some shit, and it could very easily go that way. If they don't have their energy directed in the right direction.
I was the kid that said real quick. I was the kid that said a lot of times, whenever I was in the cafeteria eating lunch, it was usually alone and reading. His boobs fell off, and we had a suicide hotline and that kind of thing at the high school, and girls were walking around. Type O Negative, fuck yeah. Type O Negative was one of the greatest bands that ever walked the face of the earth. But they had all these cards about this hotline, right? They walk up to me and and there's 3 girls, okay, arms full of these fucking cards, and they go, "We feel like you just need these," and just threw them all at me. Yeah. So that's how much I was liked in high school. I didn't do anything.
I just want to answer Thronco there. We are the Video Store Clerks Podcast. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m. we go live and talk about a different film week to week. This week's Weird Science. We just kind of got thrown off the rails there a little bit because we're just bullshitting. But
we're freestyling. We're talking about Weird Science. We're talking about Gary and Wyatt. And how kind of we related to them in certain ways. So yeah, we're being nerds. I'm wearing a bra on my head. I'm a fucking idiot.
But you did mention Vernon Wells, who played the little barbarian guy at the end, which is like a Mad Max 2 character.
Yep,
fucking amazing. Like I always loved him in Commando and Bennett. Fucking best villain ever.
Yeah, Vernon Wells. Shut up.
Oh, you talking about dude from Commando and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
guy in this
Lord
movie,
General.
Yeah.
Vernon Wells, fucking great.
Is he still alive?
I believe so.
This is also me having an old man moment.
He's still alive.
There's been a lot of celebrities here lately. I'm like, aren't they dead? And it's like, no, they're like. There's been a couple that recent times where I'm like, I thought you died like 8 years ago, and they're like giving speeches and shit. I'm like, what? Ridiculous. Well, that's good then. Yeah, good for him.
I had to put this shit on backwards. Keeps falling off. Cups are too big.
Well,
if it's more than a hand, what does he say?
I don't know. There's no such thing as a wasted. Never mind. Anyway.
Right. No, I can't. Yeah. We're on the same wavelength.
It's as big as my bald head. It's fine.
Suffocate me. Anyway.
Yeah, we talked about Anthony Michael C. I almost did it again. Anthony Michael C. Hall. It's fucking Dextard.
Imagine Anthony Michael Hall and Michael C. Hall doing a film together. How fucked up you'd be.
I'd be fucked.
Yeah.
That would be.
They'd just be the same actor.
Yeah.
Like, what if they got Anthony Michael Hall to play Dexter's dad instead of Christian Slater?
Wow. It'd be crazy, man.
Crazy.
Great.
Well, it might make sense, but I think he's doing a good job.
We can't forget about
when I've seen it,
Elon Mitchell Smith, who was Wyatt in the film. He didn't really do a whole lot. It didn't seem like I mean, he's got I think 12 things on IMDb acting wise.
Yeah, I mean this is his breakout. This is his breakout role, and afterwards he didn't really do too much. And if you see any of the interviews with him, in modern times, I think he went on to become a teacher.
I think he's like a Caltech or something.
Yeah, and he even says, he wasn't a good actor, and he didn't care enough to become a good actor, and he just kind of got thrown into all this, and he enjoyed it and all, but not enough to where he took it very serious and wanted to make it a career. So,
was Wyatt the redhead or the darkhead?
Dark
or blonde, whatever. Dark. Okay, yeah. He was in a movie, and I can't remember which one it was, but like I see him sitting on a bed smoking a cigarette, and like his mom or brother or somebody's bitching in the hall, but I can't remember what the fucking name of the movie is.
Ain't many of them.
That's what I'm saying. What are they?
Daniel, The Wildlife, How to Be a Perfect Person in Just 3 Days, Weird Science, Equalizer, Journey to the Center of the Earth, The Chocolate War, Identity Crisis, Superboy, the TV series, Silk Stockings, the TV series, Axe Cop, and The Goldbergs. So
I don't know what movie.
Maybe you're thinking of somebody else. I don't know.
No, it was him. But I can't think what it is though.
Yeah, seeing him now, I just think of whenever he played the interim chief in Psych. Fucking love that show.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I think if I would have changed anything, it probably would have been him. He's okay in this, but I don't know. Maybe it works out good because he's kind of like this, even though he's like the main guy, it's his house, it's his brother and everything like that. He's kind of second fiddle to Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah. Anthony Michael Hall steals the show in this film, in my opinion.
I mean, him and Hughes were buddies, so I mean.
But I mean, you could just tell how much of a better actor he was, and
right.
Even when you get to the part where he's drunk, and a lot of that stuff is ad libbed. It just shows how creative and how more of a talent he was than Elon Mitchell Smith, I think. So, if you look at it that way and you're kind of like, okay, this is his time to shine for Anthony Michael Hall, then he's probably a good cast. Elon Mitchell Smith is. But if you really wanted to have two guys that played off each other well, I mean, they're okay, but I feel like you could have cast it better in this spot. I don't know who I would have put in there, but I feel like there's somebody that would have done a better job. I don't know.
I think it's funny that that Hall played in Breakfast Club and in this and did scenes where he acted black.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. It's like, you're a little skinny white kid, blonde hair, redhead, whatever the hell. Like, I don't know. There's just something really funny about those because I feel like in real life that kid would probably get beaten up for being disrespected or being disrespectful.
Well, I mean, that's the comedy part of it, where he's, a lot of people criticize that scene where, he gets drunk at the bar and he's talking to all the.
Oh, it's a great scene.
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious. But a lot of people criticize it because they feel like it comes across as racist. And, I don't know. Race doesn't have to play a part in everything. Just because somebody is imitating somebody, like, there's white people that act like that. There's it's one of those things. Like this is an actor acting. He's pretending to be somebody. That's the whole gimmick. All right. So
right.
And on top of that, it's comedy. So I don't look at it from a perspective of this person or this character is trying to be disrespectful. I look at it as this is just some goofy underage white kid who got drunk and now he's acting like an idiot because he's drunk and he's in an environment that he's never been in before. So how are you going to act in an environment that you've never been in before? You're trying to fit in. And you think, this is how these guys talk. I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying to be cool. It's not like, I'm going to make fun of you. This is how you talk. I'm not. It doesn't come from a place of hatred. And a lot of people take that kind of stuff out of context. It's all about the context. Yeah. He's not being disrespectful. He's not, trying to be. You look at the character throughout the film. Does he do anything else racist? Does he do anything that would make you think this character is racist? No. He's just a dumb kid who doesn't know any better, and especially if you're in Shermer, Illinois, and you haven't grown up, it's like, our high school, there was only like 3 black kids. So it's like, if you don't understand a certain culture because you haven't been acclimated to it, then you might not know how to act. But if he's sitting in that bar and he's talking like that, and those guys say, "Hey, man, we don't appreciate the way you're talking. We feel like you're mocking us. You're being disrespectful." That would be one thing. But like I said, I don't feel like it comes from a place of hate. It's just kid. No, I'm not saying I'm giving you shit. But there's a lot of people out there that are like, "Oh, he's mocking black people," and I disagree with that. But you're entitled to your opinion. But it's a hilarious scene. It's just a goofy kid, being dumb. That's what it is.
They were 15 years old. It was probably his first time ever being drunk, too.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of things about that, though, is the fact of One, I wonder if he watched, because I was noticing that scene. There's been interviews that I've watched with old school blues guitarists and shit. You know, those the old gruffy motherfuckers that, you know, the OGs. He kind of does similar things and acts a certain way that kind of makes me wonder if he watched similar interviews that I watched about the same ones. And then also, we have all had that one friend. We have all had that one friend who maybe gets too nervous and, like, you know, he's not used to diversity and immediately starts acting.
Yeah,
like
you're trying to, like I said,
you
you're
know.
trying to acclimate, you're trying to fit in. So if you're not familiar with a certain environment or a certain culture and you're trying to fit in, it's not like, hey, I'm making fun of you guys. I'm trying to be hip. I'm trying to be cool.
No, but it's fucking hilarious is what I was getting at. Like, how many I've had so many friends. I've had so many fucking friends at parties and shit that they don't get out much. So, like, when they're around anybody that's like different than them, they want to get along with everybody. So they immediately pick up on certain things. It's like, hey, dude, you don't have to try too hard. Just be yourself. Like, you're cool. You don't have to. You don't have to put A at the end of everything. Just chill the fuck out. Like, you're good. Like, be yourself.
Well, he said that him and Hughes used to watch a lot of Richard Pryor shit.
Yep. If
that makes sense.
If you go back and watch Richard Pryor stand up, you know, when he does Mudbone, when he does the wino and the junkie, you know, those kind of characters are the same. They sound the same. You know, it's just, hey man, you know, whatever. You know, and it's like, if you do a voice, like I said, it doesn't. I could do Tony Montana. Am I making fun of Cuban people? No, I'm fucking just acting like a character.
It's an impression.
Yeah, it's an impression.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people just take these things out of context, and it's silly. You should know. If anybody with common sense knows when somebody's trying to be disrespectful. If I'm talking to you and I'm making fun of your culture, your nationality, your gender, you're gonna know it. All right. I'm not going to give you little subtle undertones. It's going to be in your face. And, you know, a lot of these films, that's not the case. It's a different era. That's for sure. There's a lot of language that you wouldn't use nowadays, but it's definitely not stuff that's intended to be disrespectful. But I can understand that people would take it that way. But I'm going to say, look at it from a different perspective. It's not always got to be about that, guys. Have fun. It's like I said, it's goofy fucking teen horny comedy.
It's a fun movie. It's a teen comedy. And if people want to bitch and moan, go back and watch American like Pie, and then go back and watch some of these older movies and go, you know, and understand, like, it's not really so, like, is it supposed to be offensive? Yes, in ways it kind of is, but like this movie, not so much. You know what I mean? Like, movies that were made then, like, there was kind of a more of a relaxed idea of what you could joke about, what you couldn't joke about, what you could imitate, what you couldn't imitate, and honestly, it's very tasteful, in my opinion. I don't think that anybody should. Now, you know, talking about earlier before we get on here about movies that back in the 80s and stuff, that now, like, they have canceled or whatever the fuck, like, you know, Revenge of the Nerds.
And
when I was a kid, I didn't understand certain things, you know, and I got older, and I remember when I was a little older, when I watched it again, you know, it is kind of fucked up that old dude has sex with old girl when he's making her believe that that's her boyfriend, even though whatever. Kind of fucked up, kind of crazy. But I never really thought about it until, like, it became a big thing again a couple of years ago, and I was like, wow, that's really fucked up. And you go back and look at certain movies, and you're like, wow, that's kind of fucked up. I think when it comes down to the fucked upness of a lot of the movies back then, Weird Science and the shit that went on in this movie, even though some of it's controversial and whatever the fuck, was fine. You know what I mean? Like, was not that big of a deal.
It was definitely a different time, and a lot of people just don't give any credence to that. You know, they're just like, this shouldn't exist. Well, guess what? All of history shouldn't exist then. All right. Because from the beginning of time, man has fucked up. All right. We've done dumb shit. We said dumb shit, and we've learned along the way. Some of us, you know, whatever. Some of us are still, we're always learning. And that's the key thing here, is that, you know, when you make mistakes or you hurt people, you can go and say, hey man, you know what? I didn't realize what I was doing. You know, there's people that are, you could, like I said, you can tell when people are just kind of ignorant to the fact that they're doing something wrong, or people that are intentionally trying to hurt somebody or disrespect somebody. You can tell the difference. So it's like, you know, cut some people some slack. We're all humans. We're all learning. We're all just trying to get by on this rock. So, you know, just relax.
And also, you also got to realize, I mean, like this movie, again, weird science, crazy ass movie, and there's bras on guys' heads trying to get a woman. So nothing that right there should make sure that everybody knows. Don't take it too seriously. Have fun with it, you know. And by the way, beautiful monologue there with the bra on your head.
Well, I'm not trying to get too serious. You know, this isn't that type of podcast. But at the same time, you know, I want to express my opinion on the situation, and then, you know, if anybody has a different opinion, you know, I'm always welcome to hear everybody's opinion, man. I love free speech and being able to talk, but at the same time, it's all about respect, no matter what. You know, if you have a different opinion than me, you know, that's fine. You know, I have no problem with that. I respect that, and it's just fucking hang out, have a good time. You know, hey, I didn't like this because of that. Okay, cool. I liked it. It was a very funny scene.
I mean, that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Like, that shit cracks me up.
Yeah, man, they get with the big titties, man.
you know, with the big titties.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's just so silly, you know.
You know, like when the guy like pours the drink, he's like, "Oh, you know," and he's like, "Drink it," but like he's like, "So, do you all get along with your parents?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like
it's so crazy.
It's just a totally awkward situation for him. Like I said, he's never been in this type of environment. And, you know, it's all these older guys in a bar, and, you know, they know he's an underage kid. So they're going to have fun with him. You know, they don't take him serious, and they're just cracking them up the whole time. You know, it's like, oh, you know, hey, Dino, what does he say?
He's like, what are you doing with this Malakas right here?
Yeah, that's what it is.
She's into Malakas, Dino. What can I say?
She's into Malakas, Dino.
They all just start laughing. Like, that whole fucking scene cracks me up. Especially
which,
he, like,
you know.
Go ahead.
What's that?
I was going to say, like, the scene where. Now you lagged for a hot minute.
Oh, I'm lagging. That's why. I thought you were doing it on purpose. What are you doing?
I was going to say, whenever he, like, has his last drink or whatever, and he goes to, like, slap the table when he misses and falls down.
I think he was trying to give the guy 5. It's hard to see, but I think he was trying to give the one guy 5, and then he misses, and it just falls through.
But that's probably my favorite part of the scene, though, because she's like, all right, time to go. Then you hear him in the background going, all right, girlie says time to go. Then they fucking carry him out of there, and they're all taking bets. They're like, he ain't going to make it to the car.
Yeah.
But that whole fucking scene was the best one, in my opinion.
Oh,
especially whenever they're in the back seat, and then they fucking, like, they've both been drinking. Like, luckily, like, Wyatt hasn't drank nearly as much as Gary. And then he's driving because she doesn't want to.
Yeah, why does she not want to drive? You know, they've given her, like, the brain of Einstein, yet she doesn't realize that these two underage guys are drunk, and neither should be driving. One doesn't even have his license.
Well, that was the David Lee Roth they put in her.
No, yeah, I don't feel like driving.
What about David Lee Roth?
No, we were talking about the car scene, like how like they've both been drinking, and Wyatt's the one driving, and she don't feel like driving. And Mike was like, "Well, she's like, they gave her like the smarts of Einstein, but she's making them drive." I was like, "Yeah, that's just because she has David Lee Roth typed in there too." So
and then he runs the red light, and oh
no.
Gary goes flying or whatever, and then he's like, they're like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "My nuts are halfway up my ass, but other than that, I'm perfect."
Oh, that's right. Like underage drinking, underage driving.
He ain't got his license, Lisa.
She's such a bad influence.
But she isn't ultimately. You know, there's some
Right.
scenes where you're like, what's going on here? But
I mean, that's their first outing with her when she was created. Like,
yeah, like
what created, they
yeah.
get dressed, they go out to the fucking club.
yeah, what do you two little maniacs want to do first?
It's a crazy ass weekend.
Well, I tell you,
Get in the shower.
Yeah.
yeah.
That scene at the bar, I almost forgot. That scene at the bar, whenever he first goes in the bathroom and he walks in, and the three guys turn around from the urinals and look at him, and he's like, hey. And then they turn back around, and he goes into the stall, and he sits down, and it pans down to where you see other boots in there, and he's like, God damn.
So what happened to him?
I don't
Hard
want to
to say.
speculate.
It wasn't a Diddy party, so I
This
like to
one
think
was-
he's safe.
He's safe.
I was trying not to make a Diddy joke earlier.
You're
but
welcome.
okay.
I always come through in a clutch.
Anyway,
Yeah, if anybody in the chat wants to throw out their favorite scene from this film, go ahead and we'll talk about that. But you know, like Chad said, you know, that scene at the candy bar, that's one of the funnier ones, you know, even though it's controversial to some people. You know, she gets made, and you know, that was one thing. Weren't they watching Frankenstein, and then somehow it turned into Bride of Frankenstein? Because he's like, she's alive.
I think I went to Frankenstein's Island.
Frankenstein's Island.
they were watching the colored version
Yeah.
too. I hate the colored version
Terrible.
of Frankenstein. In any old movie, it was in black and white. Do not put it in color.
You never watched Frankenstein or Weird Science, Melissa? You
Oh.
never watched Weird Science.
Well, I mean that either one.
You never watched.
If you haven't watched Frankenstein or Weird Science, you got something to look at.
then you got another thing coming.
But yeah, she's, you know, the first thing they want to do is hop in the shower with her and
and do nothing.
just watch her shower. You know.
Yeah, I remember being a teenage boy, and I know what I watched, and if me and my buddy were in the shower with a chick, well, it'd be awkward as one because that'd
You
be
gotta
weird.
watch it.
Oh shit! Really? No, yeah. That was one scene where I wanted to kick them in the nuts.
Well, then
Kick them,
and then
Jimmy.
the pan out reveals that they're standing there in their pants and shoes and everything like that. So, you know, it's you know, people criticize that scene too. It's like, oh, what is this, you know, older woman doing in the shower with two boys? You know.
Well, they made her, and it's not like they do.
No, but I
anything.
love after the bar scene though when they get home and they're all drunk or whatever, because that's whenever you first run into Bill Paxton as Chet.
Bill Paxton, man.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Oh,
Yeah, dude,
Such
no
a
shit.
talent.
That was a sad day when we lost him.
What's funny, like so.
heart
Well,
surgery?
the funny thing about that whole thing is, like, I was watching some shit about this movie, and apparently, like, Bill Paxton just went and got his hair cut like that one day without anybody knowing. And John Hughes was pissed when he heard about it. And then once he saw him and actually saw a take, he was fucking cracking up because he's like, "That's genius."
I mean, he looks like the stereotypical movie douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
So
army
fucking
guy.
good. Like, he played that shit to the
Yeah.
T. And then he's always fucking like trying to get money out of Wyatt. I don't know how this little high school kid can just throw out $175.
yeah.
They have
It
so
should
much
be in
money
my
in this
wallet
movie.
tomorrow by 7 a.m. Thanks.
How's this kid having money?
They live in a fucking house. I don't know why he didn't have his own fucking.
Well, what's
money.
funny though, whenever like, because Gary's like just shit face, and he has like Lisa's little like fabric gloves on or whatever, and he's just sitting there like rubbing his lip, and then whenever he gets pulled away, and he's like, he pukes, you die, and he's like, anybody with a haircut like that's an asshole. It's like, look at his haircut. Anybody with a haircut like that's an asshole.
Yeah, it reminds me of Kevin Bacon in Animal House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like you said, it's that stereotypical douchebag guy. You know, like Bradley Cooper and Wedding Crashers. You know, like there's a million different films that have this type of character, but Bill Paxton, you know, nails it, knocks it out of the park.
He kills it.
I've had to deal with a few douchebags. Still dealing with a few douchebags in my life that have a very similar mindset. So I have to say, as much as I love Bill Paxton, his character really pisses me off.
He does a good job.
He does a good job. He was a great actor. Man. He really was.
Snowing in my bedroom. He's so good in this movie, though. I couldn't picture anybody else in his part at all.
No.
When he's a fucking big old plop of shit, that's the best. Hey, I just wanted to say that I'm sorry.
Never did anything to you.
Yeah. And I love you. He just starts cackling.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, you need to promise that you're going to be good to Wyatt and not torment him." And he's like, "I promise." And he's like, "Yeah, you want to shake on it?" So, no. I'd rather not.
He's got like fucking green ooze coming out of his little holes in his body,
eating flies and shit.
Oh, come on.
The best thing with him, I think, is whenever fucking, like the night after the party, whenever she calls him down for breakfast and he comes downstairs and he's wearing the fucking outfit that she was wearing when she got brought into the world or whatever. And he's like, "Hey, nice panties." And he's like, "Wait a minute. No, that's not normal."
That's an awkward scene. I don't know. You know, like if I'm going to criticize any scene, it's probably this scene.
Right?
Just because, you know, Elon Mitchell is he's 15 in this film. Like he just turned 15.
Ladies' undergarments.
He's not playing a character that's 15. He's actually 15 in real life. He had just turned 15. Like they're filming this in like October of 84, and he just turned 15 in like June or July, I think. So I mean, he's less than 15 and a half, and he's standing there in skimpy women's panties. Like
the 80s were different, man.
It was different.
See, there's quite a few movies from like the 80s where there's some kind of like comedies where like the guy always ends up with some type of the woman's, you know, they're rushing to get dressed, you know, for whatever reason. Because I remember in Dragnet with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd, there was a part where Tom Hanks is getting a ride from a female officer that he had relations with. And she's like, "You coming by later?" And he goes, "I have to. I'm wearing your underwear." Like, and there's been other movies, I can't think what they are, but like, I'm like, what was that? Was that a thing? Did you just like rush that much? So you're like, oh, they feel nice. Like, what was it? Just a thing in the 80s that just kind of happened? Like when you like were, you know, it's like, hey, I'm with this hot chick and we're getting it on. And now I got to get dressed. So now I'm just going to go with the smallest thing that I wasn't wearing before and then act shocked. Like, I don't understand.
As Rick James would say, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
No, I mean, that's not the thing, you know, like I said, in this scene, that's not the thing that bothers me. You know, like you said, there's been different films where, you know, every, you know, a person from the opposite genders and the other person's clothes, whatever. But the fact that his age, though, a 15, I don't want to see any 15-year-old boy, girl in skimpy underwear at all.
No,
you know,
no.
And on top of that, then, you know, Bill Paxton, who is 29, is like, "Oh, you cover yourself up," and he pulls his towel off, and he's bare ass naked. I mean,
oh yeah, true.
And I'm sure he's wearing. I mean, I'm not sure, but I would assume he's wearing a sock to cover up his shit.
So.
But still, you know, how does that? You know, maybe I'm just the old guy now, but you know, how does that?
No, that's a little fucked up.
How does that affect a 15-year-old boy? You know, and that
even wearing a cock sock don't leave the imagination too much.
That's what I'm saying. You know, it's inappropriate, but you know, you know, whatever.
Inappropriate, definitely. But I mean, like, also, like, at one time, like, we were all kind of taught, like, this is our bodies, and it's not that big of a, you know, when you like see somebody else, it's like, okay, well, you got to be mature about it, whatever the fuck. But Yeah, at the same point, that's really fucked. I didn't even think about that.
I know.
It's
I know we're uptight
up.
Americans, and we're not acclimated to the nudity of the Europeans, how free they are with their nudity and everything like that. But no, I think the thing that messes with me, what is the implication? Like, okay, he's in her panties. So did he have sex with her?
Oh yeah,
because she's like, so.
I mean, she makes a
comment. She says later that she was doing her gymnastics or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he fell asleep, so she painted her toenails.
Yeah, she said.
I think the intention was to fuck him, but he fell asleep.
Okay, so you could take it two different ways. You could say, okay, because she goes like 10 seconds into my gymnastics routine, you passed out. So did he just pass out because he was drunk?
Her shoes were at the top of his head, which leads me to believe that she was riding something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the implication that he got drunk and passed out before he could do the deed, or did he do the deed in 10 seconds and then pass out?
I don't know. Did he?
Because I mean, at some point, he's got to be naked to get into her underwear. I don't know. This is fucked up. I want to move on. Anyway, that's a fucked up scene, guys. So yeah,
that being said,
I agree. I had the same thought.
So if you want to criticize this film about that scene, then okay, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, there's not really any justification for that entire scene. There really is not. Because I totally, there's a couple of parts of this movie. Because like I said, I hadn't watched this movie for like 15 years, and that scene was definitely one where I was like, don't remember that one. That kind of blocked that out of my. Maybe I was traumatized as a kid and I blocked it out. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but I was like, I don't remember him walking around in her fucking shit. That's weird. Oh, now his towel's off.
I do think the odd line of the whole thing is when Bill Paxton says, "Hey, nice panties."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Like,
if my little brother came down the steps of my mom's house and he was wearing like his girl's drawers, I'd be like, "The fuck are you doing, bro?"
I don't know. I'm gonna say had the Robert Downey Jr. character come down in the women's panties, then that would have probably been okay because he's the older one. You're like, okay, I get it. 18.
No, I don't think that'd be okay.
No, I get it. The implication is.
It's the implication.
It's funny, but like I said, I don't want to see. I don't want. Yeah, this shit. Let's move on. I don't want to think about this scene anymore.
Woo! No,
Dave's gonna chop and screw this episode. It's gonna be all fucked up.
Chop it. But then they go to the mall, and she's at the lingerie store.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh," and she's talking to the old lady. If you were a 15-year-old boy, would this turn you on? She's like,
"Give me a break."
Like, what the fuck kind of question? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
We'll see. Not to get on serious shit or nothing, but also at one time, as fucked up as it is, there was a weird stigma about, going down to like, female teachers and their students and shit like that. Like, there was a whole like, oh yeah, man, and like you'd have some shows or whatever that would have like dads being like, oh yeah, son, and weird shit like that. That scene's kind of fucked up too, actually. That's kind of, it's kind of blatant. You know what I mean? It's like if you were a 15-year-old boy. Well, yeah, if you're wearing that, I'm a 15-year-old boy. I'm gonna be crawling up your fucking leg.
And that's the thing.
But
okay,
that's not right.
I don't want to get too serious into this, but it's one of those things.
But watching this, I was like,
that even to this day, the double standards are out there because you'll have those incidents on the news where some hot teacher hooked up with an underage boy and goes, "Did you get all the comments?" Where they're like, "Oh, I wish I would have had that t-shirt when I was a kid," from all the guys because they're like, "Oh,
yeah,
hot chick." But you flip the script, and if you change Wyatt and Gary into two girls and Kelly LeBrock into a man, and then everybody this ever again. You know what I mean?
No. I would like to go ahead and personally say, I would like to personally say real quick on behalf of the video store clerks, we think that it doesn't matter. It's wrong either way. Thank you. Continue, guys.
Yes.
That.
Anything that has to do with sexualizing children is fucked up, and I don't want any part of it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But hey, this movie's funny.
It really is, though. Like,
it really is. It's a fun movie. Like, if you actually like take out some of the weird shit that's in it, like it is a fun movie, and it does kind of live in like inside, like from a teenager's point of view in a lot of ways. So,
well, then you have fucking Robert Downey and his buddy. They have girlfriends, but then they start chasing her through the mall to find out that Gary can't drive for shit because he fucking comes flying up in his Porsche, missing gears, and fucking just sounds awful. But then they're amazed that she's with these two fucking guys, and then out of nowhere, she's just like, "Oh, we're having a party tonight. Fucking come by." Like, this is the next day after the fucking first day they make her. So she's getting them fucking kids into all kinds of shit in a weekend. Like, this movie's a span of 2 days.
Yeah, I know, right? It goes quick. A lot of shit happens in 48 hours. But I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know why, but the outfit she's wearing at the mall was just so good. I don't know. She's just so attractive. Kelly LeBrock, in this film, beautiful woman, still beautiful woman, still beautiful woman. But god damn it, man. All you beautiful people out there, you got to realize you're going to get old, man, and fucking quit getting plastic surgery. All right. Just be your natural self. All right. You don't need that shit. You're beautiful the way you are.
Yeah.
You're beautiful.
You're
beautiful. Oh, what? Is this something? Is this not where I come in my song routine?
Lost his ear warmers.
It's harder. Oh, man.
Chad, you can take them off now. His are gone. Oh wait, he's putting them back on.
Oh, we're wearing them. I'm wearing these to work.
All right.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, we are.
So I love you guys.
You cannot take us serious.
Can never take anyone too seriously.
All right, let's get
yourself
back to the funny stuff. All right, so then it's time for the party, and got to go over to Gary's parents' house. You know.
Oh, dude, fucking Gary's parents' house was great because as soon as you see Gary's dad, Britt Leach, I was like, I know this motherfucker from somewhere.
Yep.
So, like, I look him up, and he was Reggie from fucking The Great Outdoors.
Yep.
Yes, he was the white guy.
I was fucking like, that is fucking where I know that guy from. Fucking great guy.
In the head.
Fucking great. But that whole scene was fucking amazing. How he's just sitting there trying to go to this party, talking with her, and she's just talking shit like she don't give a fuck. Like, she tells him the straight truth. He's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "A movie." She's like, "A party." It's a movie party.
And this is one of Kelly LeBrock's favorite scenes, that she got to film.
And Dave's.
Yep, and Dave's favorite scene. But yeah, I like. She gets all confrontational with him, and she's like, "Gary, you're out of shape. I'll kick your ass." But it's funny because we talk about how she's kind of a bad influence early on, but she comes into 12 hours later, she becomes a good influence because she's sitting there, she's defending Gary. She's saying, "Hey, he's a good kid. He gets good grades. If anybody should be bitching, it's him because, you guys are being so restrictive on him, and she makes a lot of good points and she looks at it from a different perspective and she's very supportive. That's the coolest thing about Lisa is that she is supportive of these guys no matter what. And she wants them to grow and their lives to be better. If it means she's got to be some kind of sex maniac, she'll do it. If she's trying to be a teacher and a person that helps them grow and mature in different ways, then she's going to do it.
So a groomer.
I mean, she's trying to build their self-confidence too. Because some guys, they're just two little dorky kids. They don't want to know what the fuck they're doing.
No.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that scene, it cracks me up. His mom's all like, soiree, I think that means a party. So nerdy, you know. Even the parents.
They flip the fuck out. What is it she says that sends them over the roof?
Remember she's talking about Gary jerking off in the bathroom or tossing off in the
No.
bathroom?
Well, no.
Oh yeah.
Well, she was talking about the party and how it's not going to be hot wax on the nipples and all this.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of kids running around in their underwear being
High school orgy.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. She's just being over the top, just to fuck with them and be silly. But yeah, then he's in the bathroom tossing off the magazines. It's like, oh, you told me you were combing your hair.
I did not toss off.
I was combing my hair.
Oh, that's a great scene too. That's pretty fucking hilarious.
It really is. Like, yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of fucked up shit in this movie. I'm starting to.
And then she pulls out a gun. we find out that it's a squirt gun, but it looked pretty convincing. Yeah,
pretty realistic squirt gun.
I always thought how funny it would be, like, because I mean, she even pulls the hammer back, so it's a real fucking gun. But then she's in the car with Gary as they're driving off, and chips, dips, chains, and whips. That's what she said.
That's new book title. Just so you know. It's a new.
She's
book
driving
title.
off and puts the gun in Gary's face. Like, now this is the dark version of the movie, where the gun, she thinks she turns it into a water pistol, but she doesn't. She just shoots Gary in the fucking face. I just shoot Marvin in the face.
Yeah, I was gonna say she hits a bump and shoots Gary in the face.
Yeah, like that'd be so fucked up.
You calling the wolf?
Oh shit! That's all you had to say, Mike. I didn't know you was calling the wolf.
But yeah, man, so funny. What else? I'm trying to think of. Yeah,
I'm not kidding. That is a title for a new
he's
story.
writing it down right now.
He already did.
I did. It's in the phone. It's gonna be a good one.
Chips, dips, chains, and whips.
No, but that's a good scene. But then they go back, and the next thing you know, like, everybody from their fucking high school is at this party.
Everybody. They open the door, and it's the whole fleet of people.
And they had the guys from the what was the bar called? The candy bar?
Candy bar.
Yeah, they had like a few of the guys from there bartending.
Sure.
He's like, let me get a scotch.
Let me have the whole bottle of scotch.
Take it.
I'll take the whole bottle and I'll shove it up your ass. Just on the rocks. That's what I thought, motherfucker.
But then we find Gary and Wyatt up in the bathroom, afraid to come out. They're nervous. They don't know what to do. They haven't been in this scenario before, and that's funny because he's talking about him farting or taking a shit or whatever, and he's like,
he's like, if you're gonna float an air biscuit, let me know. I'll turn on the fan.
Turn on the fan, and then the two chicks show up that they from the school that they've had a crush on. Who is it? Deb and Hilly.
Like that.
Yeah, played by Judy Aronson and Suzanne Snyder. They show up and they come up and they're trying to use the bathroom and he keeps poking his head out. Gary keeps poking his head out the door, like, "Oh, hey!" And then he's going back, and then Wyatt is like, "Oh, Gary was just taking a shit," and he slams the door, and then all of a sudden it just goes whack, and he slaps him, and then it cuts back. And there's a lot of good.
His eyes get about that big.
Oh my gosh, there's some really good cuts in this scene here because then they bring the girls in the bathroom and they're talking to them and getting to know them and all this stuff. And then the girls want some privacy. So instead of them leaving the bathroom, they just go into the shower. And now they're trying to strategize, even though the girls are right there outside the shower door. And it's probably one of the better shots of the film where Hughes is just focusing on their mouths, going back and forth as they're trying to talk about these girls or whatever. And it goes back and forth, and they're talking faster. Blah, 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 blah. And then I think it's a Gary who just kind of goes and smiles and does this cheeky smile or whatever. But I really like that shot because it's just something different. You didn't really see stuff like that back then, the up close of the mouse or whatever. So, and that's that comedic element to it, but it's a different kind of shot. Gary's dad doesn't even remember who his son is.
Yeah. And it's funny because like our
mom's showing him pictures.
Our friend Gary, like all the time, we'd be at Gary's house, and like Dave and me would be sitting there and be like, "Who's this fucking Gary character you keep talking about?"
Gary, our son.
No.
And Wyatt's grandparents show up at the party.
Hey, Graham.
Some
Hey,
fucking
Graham.
Goosebumps looking shit.
Why are my grandparents in the fucking dry storage?
Yeah. Lisa
Why are they
Lisa
here?
freezes them, but not literally freezes them. Like, I don't know how you explain
They're
it.
not aging anymore.
They're not aging anymore. They're in the pantry. They're just like
The whole fucking kitchen turns blue because they try to create that. They try to create the other woman for what are their names anyway? Ian and something.
Ian and Max, Mad Max. Remember, Mad Max
that's right.
Mad Max is taking a mad shit right now.
See, maybe he did try to. Like, I always wondered. Like, I know with like Vernon Wells' character, like he looks like the dude that he played in Mad Max 2. So I always wondered if he just like kind of like took that shit and threw him in there.
And you can't forget Michael Berryman. Hills Have Eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like they all look like just straight road warriors.
Oh, for real? Yeah, definitely.
Then you had the guy with like the half metal face, and then the one chick with the fucking chain around her neck that's laughing. And that shit always cracks me up too, because like they finally like decide to man up and kick these guys out of their party, and then she starts laughing, and he's like, "Shut up, bitch!" And then he just walks up to her to the Vernon Wells and starts talking some shit about how they stink and shit. And then Michael Berryman like blows in his armpit and sniffs it. I don't know why, but that scene always cracks me up.
Yeah.
Woo!
And the missile, like we talked about earlier, comes up through the floor and everything because they forgot to hook up the doll.
Like you forgot one line of detail, and they're like the doll.
Instead, the wires are sitting there on the Time magazine. I don't know. This is a weird type of film because, okay, you're basically saying that they Frankenstein this broad, but she has magic powers. So did they really, or is it like a Mary Poppins type of thing, or is it like a genie in a bottle type of thing? You know, in my mind, I like to think that like maybe Chet had like some, you know, because he was in the military, right? He brought something back from the, you know, overseas or something, and it was like some kind of lamp, and whatever they did unleashed the genie, and she was really a genie in a lamp. She wasn't just created from a doll. That doesn't make much sense, does it? But what are we talking about? Some goofy movie here? I don't know.
I don't know. Like that's what the show made it seem like though. Was like she was more of a genie.
Because she
I
has. Yeah,
didn't really
if
care
you
for the series too much.
Because Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, they didn't have magic powers. They couldn't make shit happen.
Right.
Electricity.
Music.
Friend. It's funny because it's so many of these episodes tie together. You know, we just did Bride and Frankenstein for the Valentine's episode, and now we're doing this, and it's like, you know, the tie-ins. And they're not even intentional, guys. You think we're doing this?
It's like next week we need to be doing Reanimator or something.
Oh, you calm down. We're not doing Reanimator.
That's later.
But wait,
After.
Are we? Because I might change my answer.
Nope. Locked in. Ooh. Final answer.
God damn it!
You don't get to call a friend.
It's my choice. So if I want to change it, I think I can change it.
You got 20 minutes.
Change.
So yeah.
Reanimator.
So in the matter of 48 hours, everything changes. They've saved the day. They saved the damsels in distress. Now they're popular. They got the ladies. They've dumped the terrible boyfriends, and now they're in love in the span of hours.
Well, my thing is though, like, what happened to the fucking boyfriends? Because you see them whenever the fucking like Mad Max dudes are there, and then they're like, they just kind of like wither behind the bar.
That's it.
And then he makes like a cartoon noise, and then you don't fucking hear from him ever again.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true. They actually do. Like, yeah,
they're like womp womp womp, and then they fucking just kind of like duck down out of fucking frame.
Yeah. Then Ian goes on to become, Tony Stark. He said, "Forget all this bullying stuff. I'm gonna go be a billionaire, superhero."
Maybe the man that actually has a heart.
No, they wrap this up all pretty quick. You know, it's like, okay,
They really do. Like, it's fucking just done.
Save the day. They're the heroes. We got the girls, and we're moving on. And that's that. And then Lisa's leaving. You know, she did her job. The boys are in love with these girls they just met. They don't know anything about them.
Yeah,
I love you. The whole high school career.
Fucking shut up, dumbass.
I don't know. Whatever. I like, and then okay, so Lisa leaves, and now she's a gym teacher.
Yeah, at their high school.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Drop and give me 20. Everybody falls down. Oh, so that's weird science.
That is weird science. There's a lot we've I feel like we didn't hit really, but
probably not.
You kind of have to watch it. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to describe how some of the scenes that we described don't seem funny until you actually watch them.
Oh yeah, there's a couple scenes in here going back and revisiting it. I'm watching it and I'm laughing out loud because you know it's just so goofy. Like I said, where it cuts real quick to him slapping him, or just silly
right.
goofy cuts or just behaviors that Anthony Michael Hall does, because like I said, he steals the show in this. Bill Paxton's on point. Kelly LeBrock, great.
Yeah, second acting role. Like, you can't fucking, like, what the fuck? Like, she did what I think the lady in the red dress before this in like 84.
Yeah.
And then she pretty much, I think the next thing she did was she did some Steven Seagal joint.
She was married to Steven.
Yeah, I mean, whenever she first started dating him, that's how they met.
Yeah.
It was on the set of like Out
Hard
for
to
Justice.
Kill.
Was it Hard to Kill?
Mm-hmm. She did that right after. Well, not right after. It was like 5 years later.
Yeah.
But that was the next film she did. She didn't do a whole lot. This was, another one of those ones where this was her big break.
I mean, she was a model coming out and then did a little transition period and got married to Steven Seagal, and that sucked.
Well, she does a great job in this film. Like I said, the only thing I'd change is that Elon Mitchell Smith. I don't know.
Who would you have picked back then, though?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
What?
I mean
Michael Anthony C. Hall was a lock. So I mean, he wasn't getting recasted. But if you had to pick anybody else from that time era, like Michael J. Fox.
No, I wouldn't think of him when I think of comedy.
I mean, you figure back then he was doing Back to the Future.
What do you mean Michael J. Fox don't think of comedy?
Huh? And if we were going to replace the guy that played Wyatt. Is River Phoenix still around? Did he pass away yet?
No, he was still alive.
Yeah, I think he was.
He didn't die till 92, right? 91, 92?
I don't know. This is 84.
85.
Well, it comes out in 85.
It came out in 85, but it was made in 84, I guess.
So, I mean, Corey Feldman's 13. You put him in there?
God. I think...
I mean, he was funny in the shit he was doing back then. Goonies and the Burbs and all that. He
actually when you go back and watch.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have been
called The Birthday. Like, that shit looks fucking weird.
Yeah, I heard about that movie.
It's on Shudder right now.
I thought about watching it. No, I think that if it wouldn't fit Corey Feldman, because Corey Feldman's mainly known for the hey, let's go out and party and kind of character, and that's not.
I could almost see Feldman pulling that off.
Who?
I could see Feldman pulling it off.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, most of his characters, though, are him being like come on, we have to go out and live and and do this shit.
Or
and
Sean
so Wyatt wasn't like that at all.
What about Haim? Corey Haim.
Corey Haim, could have seen that.
Saying Sean Astin?
Possibly, yeah.
Andrew McCarthy?
Ooh.
I was thinking about that too, actually, but no, because he was the same way as like Corey Feldman was. Most of his characters are like like he isn't Bernie, you know, like he's like, let's go out and do this. What are you doing? Come on, blah blah blah, you know. So it wouldn't fit. I couldn't see that. Haim, yeah.
Well, they hadn't done Ferris Bueller. Yeah, Bueller, motherfucker, Bueller. They haven't done Ferris Bueller yet. So I mean, Matthew Broderick, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
that. Hughes wanted Anthony Michael Hall to do Ferris and Ferris Bueller.
Oh God.
And he decided to go in a different direction. And that was the thing, you know, John Hughes was very adamant about working with the same people a lot. And, you know, whenever like Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall decided to kind of branch out and work with other people, he took it to heart. And, you know, he kind of just cut ties to these people because he felt like, they kind of dissed him by, you know, like, oh, you turned your back on me and went off and did stuff with other people. So, you know, like I said, he wanted him for Ferris Bueller. But it worked out better, in my opinion.
Judd Nelson to play fucking apart from Robert Downey. That'd have been good.
Yeah. I can see that. I like Judd Nelson, though. Cabin by the Lake.
I do, too.
You ever seen Cabin by the Lake? Remember those movies?
I don't believe so.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to choose that. I'm going to have to choose that one night then. USA. It was a USA movie. Yeah. Good shit. Judd Nelson playing a script writer who gets his ideas from actually doing it. There's two of them.
I know. That's one of those what ifs. And, you know, like I said, I feel like there could have been somebody else. I don't know who, but it could have been a better comedy duo. I think these guys are okay together. Charlie Sheen? He's probably too old at this point.
I mean, he looked young. Figure what? I think The Wraith came out in like 87.
Yeah, I think the only thing he liked at that time that was he just liked young. Yeah. Fuck Charlie Sheen. Go on. Speaking of Corey Haim, fuck Charlie Sheen. All right, whatever.
Well, there you go. But there we have it. You know, fucking a very controversial film in this day and age for the reasons we discussed.
What do you say that it's probably the risque? The most risque John Hughes film? I mean, aside from the early shit.
I mean, it's a pretty risque John Hughes film for the early stuff. Because Breakfast Club really wasn't that bad for the most part. Minus the under the desk scene. That was a bit much.
16 Candles.
There was some stuff in 16 Candles, but not really as bad. But there was still some kind of like,
I don't know. Like I said, this is pretty tame. A lot of people don't.
I don't know. I would like to. I would say that Weird Science is probably the most when it comes down to like subject matter and some of the things that go on and whatever. I'd say yeah, it probably is.
But if you go back and look at some of John Hughes' dark stuff from National Lampoon, man, you're gonna have your wig blown back, man.
No, I've seen some of that shit.
About after.
Yeah. Like he wrote these different things. The Spy Who Wore Nothing, Boy's Wrath, My Penis, My Vagina. You know,
but these are also movies aimed at teenagers, though.
Well, these aren't. You know, obviously these are movies,
so it's a little different. But
he still
keeps. Right, but he still keeps the darkness with some of the stuff when you actually think about it. Because now that we've been talking about it a lot, I've been thinking about some of the other shit in some of these movies, and some of it's kind of fucked. But it's kind of fucked. Some of it's kind of fucked.
All right, here. Okay, I'll read this real quick. The Spy Who Wore Nothing is something that he wrote for, I think, National Lampoon, and it involves a nerdy teenager named Chuck. who after being humiliated by his dream girl is approached by an even dreamier woman, a sexy government agent who never wears clothes. She wants nothing more than to have wild sex with Chuck and help him attain his dreams, which naturally involve spraying Chuck's high school with gunfire and then blowing it up.
Interesting.
I'm telling you, if you don't know the dark side of John Hughes, you got a rabbit hole to go look into it. But all right, they tamed him. Hollywood said, "Look, we ain't doing this super crazy shit. All right, you're just doing this little crazy shit.
No, Hollywood said, "Hey, we're not gonna do all this crazy shit because we want to have little excerpts of things hidden in it." And I'm sorry, but it's kind of the truth though. When you actually think about a lot of the movies that were like aimed at teenagers and all that shit in the 80s, where people didn't really pay attention to certain things and certain issues that go on today, like trafficking and all that shit, wasn't that fucking wildly fucking like known.
No.
Like there is some fucked up shit, and what we know about Hollywood is that they're all fucking full of scumbags, and this has been going on fucking for decades. So I mean, you know, there are some definite fucked up shit. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of John Hughes movies, but I will say this though, that you kind of can't deny some of the you know, blatant ideas and whatnot that are in some of these movies. And this one, I'm not gonna lie, there's quite a few things that are like in this movie, but you know, it's a fun movie. Whatever, it's funny. There's things, but there are things that are a little bit questionable and make me wonder about you know, our heroes. Fuck Hollywood. Continue.
Well,
back to you, Tom, with the weather.
It definitely is a film that wouldn't get made today, and you know, maybe we're too critical of it. Like I said, it's a different time. It's 1985, different perspectives, you know, different everything. So, and like I said,
real quick. Thinking about it, though, yeah, going back to Breakfast Club on that shit. Thinking about it. Sorry, guys, this happens. Yeah, the scene under the fucking desk with Molly Ringwald, was that really fucking needed? Like, Breakfast Club is one of my favorite movies of all time. It really is. Then when I think about it, I'm like, why was that even a thing?
Sure.
Like, that's kind of fucked up that was even added, which makes me wonder about John Hughes. And that's the truth on this. Thinking about some about his most popular movies and some of the ideas that were going on and some of the things that happened in it, it makes me wonder about him as well. So yeah, fuck you, Hollywood.
All right, so there you have it.
Simple as that.
Weird science.
Yeah, weird science. Yeah,
it's a goofy teen film, coming of age teen film, two nerds who just want to get laid. All right, it's silly, it's over the top, it's ridiculous, and it's controversial in certain ways.
Could also be a groomer film for older women and younger boys. So I mean, you know, what? It kind of I'm not lying here. It kind of fucks me up.
It's just a movie.
It's just a movie. It's just a movie.
Read into
it kind of fucks me up
right?
just a little bit. You know, I mean, you know, whatever. But you know, there's just a lot of things that come to light when you get older, and that's kind of fucked. But I mean, I do enjoy weird science. I do. But it was. There are parts in this movie that were kind of hard to watch. Which
guess what? Guess what? It's been 40 years, and guess what we've learned? You can't make that kind of film anymore. So we've learned our lesson. All right, we can look back and we can laugh at the silly shit, and we can analyze the shit that was controversial and say, hey, we're not going to do that anymore because it wasn't right, and we're moving on. We become better people, and we're making film. All right,
that's not Hollywood talking, right? Because Hollywood doesn't do that.
I don't know. I don't know this
Hollywood's got them worse.
It's clip of the week time.
No,
and we're going to have probably one of the most controversial clips ever. Who knows?
Oh God!
And it's going to set everything off again.
Here comes Elon Musk.
So let's see what we got this week on the old Jammerator, and pray we don't get canceled.
Oh God!
Fingers crossed.
Still waiting on that heifer, Julio. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.
Hell yeah.
Is that a burger he throws at the guy?
I think so.
I didn't know what scene that was from that movie. I just knew it was at first, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get canceled."
It was remember Chappelle was breaking down his roommates and telling them how high strung fucking Scarface is.
I actually had a friend named Charles Graves who quit his job at the movie theater by pretty much doing that, except he dunked his vest in the fucking popcorn butter. Launched it at his manager and looked at everybody that was in line and said, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. I'm out of here. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. It took him a long time to get a job in town again, though. But yeah.
That's a good one. You know, that might come up for the 420 special one of these years because it's a classic, you know.
420, yeah. Yeah.
Fun little reefer mill film. The part that still cracks me up to Williams is Samson, and whenever he's like, "Yes, Cuban B," I don't know. That's so dumb, but that cracks me up every time.
Now we need to discuss more about the 420 special afterwards. Actually, I got some ideas, but
All right.
I want to talk to Samson.
Flying on the moon like I'm straight out of Scranton.
All right, well, let's get this show on the road. All right, run the
Bad time. Bad time.
Hey everybody, Laser Trading Company is on YouTube. See some of the videos from Mike's travels and experiences. If you haven't already, please head over and subscribe. 7,800 and growing. Thank you all. Laser Trading Company is also available on eBay with various merchandise and collectibles. Hundreds of great gift ideas. That's Laser Trading Company. Laser Trading Company. Laser Trading Company.
Laser Trading Company.
Judas Goat, Nasty Nation, Graveyard Talk, and the Video Store Clerks Podcast. He is the creator of Stoner Gore.
Jack Nasty! And if you're looking for the latest in extreme horror, head over to Amazon.com. Look up Chuck Nasty, and the following titles are available. Along with the latest album, Decay of Man, from Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube now.
And speaking of, isn't there a new release over at Godless, Chuck, you want to tell us about?
Well, it's so funny you should say that because I was about to say that over on Godless, The Rocking Chair, my new novella, is out. It'll be on paperback on Amazon and shit here in the next week or two. But right now it is on Godless for $1.99 for Kindle use and all that.
It's a steal.
It's a good one. It's a fun little story with a really simple moral at the end of it, and I enjoyed writing it. Which actually I have another release coming out next month. Which I'll go ahead. This is the first time that I've said the name of this collection, and my son is the one that came up with the name of it. Twisted Eyeball Juice, a collection, will be out next month. Full of stories that I've had from different anthologies, as well as one or two that maybe I've revisited a little bit and thrown in there. And then after that, I've got Fresh Kills 2 coming out, which is called Further Into Hell. And it's guaranteed to make you laugh and make you gag. And then I'm working on a new novella right now called Fly Buffet. And so I've got shit lined up. I'm back on the grind. So
and chips, dips, chains, and whips.
Chains and whips. I have it in the old phone here, and it will be a story because I've already got an idea. And so yeah. So I've got a lot of stuff coming up.
What was it? What was the juice called?
Twisted Eyeball Juice, a collection.
I feel like that should be a beverage of some sort. I almost feel like it should be a beverage that comes out of the Thirsty machine. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a tie in there.
If anyone wants to come up with Twisted Eyeball Juice, a cocktail, please let us know because I will try that shit. I might even, thinking about it, that's not a bad idea. Okay.
I'll have to play with my skills.
Chuck wants to have some twisted eyeball juice. Hold the twisted eye.
Just some juice.
All juice.
All juice.
Chad, come on. You're missing the joke. You ruined it.
It's like
you
canned milk.
Stories of gore, disgust, depravity, and everything that makes me happy.
But hey, thanks to everyone for joining us tonight at the video store, chatting weird science. We had a great time. We ran a little late tonight, but you know what, Chad? What do we have in store next week?
Next week is Chuck's choice, and Chuck told us last week he was going to pick a movie. But is that still the same movie you want to do, Chuck?
Oh, well, see, I don't know. I'm a little torn.
Well, just a reminder, we did do Reanimator for Halloween.
No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna keep with the one we're doing. So go ahead and say it.
So Martin Scorsese's 2006 The Departed, starring Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg,
Alec Baldwin,
fucking everybody in
Leonardo DiCaprio, Leo, the main guy. But yeah,
everybody.
One of my favorite fucking movies of all time.
So there you have it.
So next week we'll be doing The Departed.
It's a great flick.
So hop online, try to find it, watch it, join us, jump in the chat, let us know what your favorite scenes and shit is in the movie. Give us some feedback. Also, we'll be coming out with
get ready.
The 150th episode here in the next 2 weeks.
Yep, 3 more episodes.
So we'll be doing something
48, 49, and then 50.
Holy shit balls.
150 episodes.
Oh, that's
coming
gonna be
around
fun.
the corner. Can't believe we've been doing this shit that long.
That's gonna be fun.
But it's been fun, and I
Been
plan
here
on
for a
keep
minute.
going. Like, this shit ain't going to end anytime soon
right.
until YouTube says, fuck you guys. Which might happen.
All I know is Dave better get his ass back here next week. He's been on hiatus for way too long. His
Yeah,
PTO's
Dave.
used up. Everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. We love y'all motherfuckers. That's for sure.
Shout out to all of our new subscribers. If you're not a subscriber and you checked in, go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It's free. I promise.
Every week we're getting new people, and we love all y'all. Thanks you for the support and everything like that. Next week, The Departed. Go ahead, check it out. Come back. We're gonna ship up to Boston next week.
Going to Boston. We are your video store clerks. We are out this week. We'll see you next week for The Departed. So we will see you next Tuesday.